Alright, this is Viblog. I've been writing code for a long time, long enough to have seen a few real shifts. Not trends or tools, but moments where the way you think quietly changes. Lately, walking this way, what people call vibe coding, I'm sensing something similar. The same change. Something in the process feels different. This log is me staying close to the feeling and testing what actually holds up what I build. Just to set the context, this walk is happening inside Xpell 2, a small runtime for building apps as one system. So let's start. Walking with agents. I want to show you the process, how I walk. So in the left window, you can find the one and only ChatGPT. ChatGPT is the architect. He remembers the details, he knows about the architecture, but he doesn't write code. Who writes the code is the agent in the right window inside VS Code, GitHub Copilot agent mod. And in the left side is Codex by OpenAI. And the reason I choose Codex is because it allows me to choose GPT 5.2 model in comparison to GPT-4 that is offered by Copilot, and I've seen some changes in the logic. So you're probably asking yourself, why do I use both agent and ChatGPT? And the answer is very simple. The agent itself is responsible for doing tasks. Sometimes I work in several projects. Sometimes it's different languages. Okay, I'm using Python and Node.js and sometimes even lower. When I want to execute something, I want it to be sharp and close. And if you give a task to an agent which is too big, it will be confused. It's just like saying to a developer, develop a login page, and the login page must have some details. There is a big chance that the developer won't place the right fields that you thought about. Maybe you wanted to do remember passport and you forgot about this. And maybe you wanted to do sign up with one-time code and you didn't even think about this. You need to create small tasks that can be maintained and reviewed, because if I'm giving the agent a big task, I need to check this code. I need to make sure that the delivery is what promised. And now you're about to see this live. I asked ChatGPT to create a test page for something that we've just upgraded. It's called Xdata, and we improved it to be way more efficient. Okay, so let's see the response of ChatGPT. And he's supposed to produce a prompt. This is the prompt, the most important thing. Now, the prompt is not that simple because, as you can see here, in the first 2 lines of the prompt, I'm asking him to apply 2 files. Codex MD is a list of rules that Codex must apply and understand how to write in Spell, how to use the objects, how to use the environment, how to use the event manager. And the second, what's called prompt rules, says basic rules that we need to apply and what can we use inside the dashboard and what not. And eventually, what's most important, this, if you unsure which rule to set applied, stop and ask before generating code. And we're also telling him what project he can work. So without further ado, let's go to work. And this, my friend, is called vibe coding. And I will explain, because we have a lot of time for this codex to finish what he needs to do. And I can tell you that these engines and sometimes ChatGPT works for a long time. And the new job of the developer is actually to be a good waiter, as funny as it sounds. Now, if I compare it to a real developer, okay, this is way faster. There is no way that the developer would come back after 5 minutes and say, okay, I've finished, check the code. I also document and make it clear for you, and no way, this is way faster. It looks like we're impatient because we compare it to the fluent work of coding, because while coding, you're always active. The only moment that you are waiting is for the compiler to build. And now compiler these days are quite fast. But this is not the case, because now I need to wait to this agent to work. So you're going to ask yourself, why don't you do it yourself? No one can do this that fast. There is no human, and I've seen Ninja developers, there is no human that fast. And there is no human that will be that patient for any request I will ask. And working with this agent, I've built an entire UI component library that in different times, it would take me like 3 months and at least team of 2 developers. And now I've made this with these tools in less than 3 days. It's astonishing the way you can produce code. It's astonishing how fast you can document the code and to maintain the changelog, the GitHub, and the entire environment is controlled by these AI agents. Imagine what happened when I connect them to the production for creating containers and deploying the projects. This is revolutionary. Because as I said, I've been writing code for a long time. And this is the first time I'm coding without writing code. Okay, so you can say, but this is the new software. The new software is writing prompts because writing prompt is similar to writing software and it's just more natural language of C++ and Java and JavaScript from very structured and tight system to something that is way more liberal, way more free, that you can do whatever you want. But the answer for this note is very simple. When you're writing code after it's been debugged and you know that it's okay, it will always produce the same result. You have a for loop that needs to write your name 100 times. It will write your name 100 times no matter what computer you're going to run it, on what time you're going to run it. But we all know ChatGPT and we all know these agents. You can send the exact prompt and get two different results. So when I understood this, I said, okay, let's spread the roles. You, the agent, you will be the junior developer that needs to write all this code. You're a superhero junior developer, okay? You're like a sous chef with 8 knives. And we're going to use the best model I found, which is ChatGPT 5.2. Maybe Cloud is better, I don't know, I didn't try. Now you can see how much code he produced, okay? He produced tons of code. What we are seeing now is the agent presenting us what he did. So, guys, the moment arrived. What? Okay, so based on what he said, run dashboard and open X data. Where? Let's see this counter. What's supposed to happen? Whoa, it's going up. Okay, so we clearly have problem. Let's ask him to fix this. Okay, you can see while he's working that inside this dashboard, I asked him for a page, and this page is it's a piece of shit. Okay, excuse me for my language, but it's crap because it's nice. I can see the functionality, but this that I have two counters, I don't know, select box that does nothing. Now I asked him a simple question, and he's thinking for a long, long time. We'll wait, guys. We'll wait. Yeah, yeah. So what happened is that I took all the code that Codex made and gave it to ChatGPT for checkup. ChatGPT examined the code and said, look, it's a piece of shit. Just kidding. He suggested me to add another function which called onChange. Okay. And this is a huge change because I know onChange, huge change. Okay, guys, so what happened now is quite interesting because I built this list of UI components with ChatGPT and the agent, but ChatGPT always forgets. Like you suddenly said, buddy, we're missing X input. Obviously, we didn't build it together. And ChatGPT is like, your code is not good. Whose code? I didn't write even one line of code. Whose code are you talking about? This is you and Codex negotiating, and I'm just I don't know what I am. I'm just doing copy and paste. I know that it sounds. I asked him, why can't he talk directly and inject the prompt to Codex? And he said that he cannot do this. I don't know why. He can do this entire system, but he cannot talk with himself. And we wait. Again, like, wait. Okay? Vibe coding is really cool, as you can see. Let's try to think why they called it vibe coding. Like, I understand coding, okay? Although it's not coding as I showed you. I didn't even write one single line of code. And we wait. I told you, one of the biggest values of the new developer is to know how to wait. We will be very patient people, or people will try to find what to do during this thinking time. So once I actually played Minecraft because the agent was thinking like more than half an hour. So one chapter, you're gonna see Minecraft. That's because I'm bored. Let's go to see the result, buddy. This is the result. Okay, a dashboard with a menu that is movable, and we have one menu, X data test, and this is the taste. Guys, that was 100% what I asked for. What are we using the X data for? X data is similar to state in system like React or Vue. you can use this shared memory to change the state of each object. You can see in the top corner that we have the FPS. How the system knows what is the FPS and what is the frame number? Well, inside the shared memory, the engine always overrides a cell called FPS or frame number, which any object can use and display. So we are taking a label and we are telling the label you have a data source named FPS. And just when there is a data on this data source, just print it inside the label as the text content. And that's how you can see that in 120 frames per second, it's been changed. The same thing with the magical sphere. I can make it bigger, smaller, and every time I talk, few of the particles inside the sphere are actually moving away from the center of the sphere according to the wave of my sound. That's quite cool. It's like taking the sound wave and transform it into sphere. I think we can summarize this chapter of working with agents, and you could see few of the things that is quite annoying. One is you need to negotiate between agent and an LLM, and we will find a better way to do this, I promise you. The second one is that you need to wait a lot. And maybe that's why we call it vibe coding, because you need to vibe, you need to do something wild. You listen to music, you play games. I've been doing this vibe log just because I'm bored while the agent thinks. The third thing, we need to remember the size of the task. We've seen that if we'll give him a big task, he will fail. So this was chapter 1 of vibe log. And until we get to chapter 2, try walking this way. Start vibe coding. Start using AI. I'm saying this out loud because ignoring shifts like this is rarely a neutral decision.